When you think about the best feuds in professional wrestling, which ones come to mind? Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart? Samoa Joe versus Punk? Misawa versus Kawada? I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this. You're wrong. And before the internet wrestling community burns down my house, let me explain why. Settle down. This is gonna be a long one. Chapter 1. This is Progress. In 2011, comedian Jim Smallman and event promoter John Briley got together and founded Progress Wrestling. Both were longtime wrestling fans, especially Smallman, who favored Japanese strong-style wrestling, which involves more realistic and unplanned moves, something that was not really seen in the UK at the time. Progress describes itself as punk rock pro wrestling, choosing to host their events at music venues rather than arenas. They hosted their first event at the Garage in London, but quickly sized up to Camden Town's Electric Ballroom. Their shows feel intimate and simplistic, lacking all the glitz and glamour one would expect after watching one too many WWE shows. There are no massive floodlights, no commentators' desks collapsing under the slightest breeze, no section 326 row 20 seating, and nary a 5-page long promo to be seen. It's just wrestling for the sake of wrestling, and that's what makes indie wrestling so endearing. More often than not, I actually prefer the quick-paced set in a high school gym and recorded on a camcorder from the 90s type of wrestling. Being from Germany, I guess you could say I'm very passionate about potato quality. Progress Wrestling has had a hand in the careers of many now household names. Walter, Tony Storm, Will Ospreay, Matt Riddle, Tyler Bate, Carl Fletcher, Trent Seven, Pete Dunne, and of course, Ilja Dragunov. And it's that last one that we will be focusing on. Him and... Chapter 2. Swan Lake. Swan Lake is a ballet composed by Russian composer Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky and tells the story of Prince Siegfried and his love for the enchanted Princess Odette, who is trapped in the body of a swan by the evil magician Rotbart. It is one of, if not the most popular ballet to date, so there are a myriad of different adaptations. There have to be. After all, the original play was a commercial failure, so much of it was lost over time. Sometimes there's a prologue where we actually get to see Rotbart curse Odette, sometimes there's a happy ending, and sometimes the ending is tragic. There is no original version, no choreographic text or clear dramaturgical structure, though most choreographers orient themselves on the St. Petersburg production by Marius Petipa and Lev Ivanov from 1895. To give a quick overview, I focused on this production by the Kirov Theatre in Leningrad. Prince Siegfried is celebrating his birthday with his tutor and friends. Though his tutor makes a valiant effort to encourage him to concentrate on his studies, Siegfried is more interested in having fun. His mother, the queen, shows up and tells him that he must choose a bride at the royal ball the following evening. He's upset that he cannot marry for love, but excited when she gifts him a crossbow. As evening falls, Siegfried sets off alone with his new crossbow to hunt. Siegfried arrives at the lakeside clearing. A swan appears on the lake and he aims his crossbow, but freezes when the swan transforms into a beautiful maiden, Odette. He discards his crossbow and they dance, but the evil magician Rotbart interrupts them and chases Siegfried away. More swans appear and Siegfried is able to find his Odette among the many, many swans. They dance the night away before Rotbart reappears and Odette turns back into a swan. Guests arrive at the palace for a ball, and princesses are presented to the prince as candidates for marriage. Rotbart arrives in disguise with his daughter Odile, who is transformed to look like Odette. Though the princesses try to seduce Siegfried, he only has eyes for Odile. Odette appears at the castle window and attempts to warn him, but he does not see her. He then proclaims to the court that he will marry Odile by raising his hand to the sky, before Rotbart shows him a magical version of Odette. Grief-stricken and realizing his mistake, he vowed to only love Odette, he hurries back to the lake. Odette is heartbroken. Siegfried returns to the lake and makes a passionate apology. He earns her forgiveness, but the spell is not yet broken, and as dawn begins to break, she slowly starts to die. Siegfried and Rotbart battle it out, and because all this fighting has taken a toll on Rotbart, Siegfried manages to overpower him and break the spell. The swan maidens turn back into women permanently, and Siegfried and Odette live happily ever after. The end. In other renditions, Siegfried's betrayal cannot be undone, and Odette, rather than remain a swan forever, chooses to die, and Rotbart is triumphant. In some of those versions of this tragic ending, Siegfried kills himself to be reunited with her in death, and the spell is broken that way, releasing the other swan maidens. So it's still tragic, but at least the other girls get to go home now. Great! Now that we have a basic idea of the play, we can finally talk about Chapter 3, Black Swan. Black Swan is a 2010 American psychological horror film directed by Darren Aronofsky starring Natalie Portman. The plot revolves around a production of Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake by the New York City Ballet. The production requires a ballerina to play both the innocent and fragile white swan as well as the dark and sensual black swan. Portman plays the committed dancer and perfectionist Nina Sayers, who is overwhelmed by the immense pressure of having to combine both roles within her, causing her to slowly descend into madness. It's a film that doesn't just deal with the psychological toll of perfectionism, but also of envy. The old ballerina, envious of the up-and-coming young star, the envy of her peers who all want her role, the envy of her mother who never got to live the life that Nina now lives, the self-envy even, the envy of the other Nina, the black swan, the one able to let go and feel things without having to be perfect. The Black Swan as a character is dark, sexual, even mischievous. Nina's awakening is the emerging of ordeal from her repressed slumber. The Black Swan, who represents unfettered passion and lust, had been kept locked away. The Black Swan takes what it wants, unapologetically. Now, we can finally talk about Chapter 4, Cara Noir. Cara Noir is an English professional wrestler best known for his work on the British independent circuit. His character has been described as the Black Swan of professional wrestling. His distinctive in-ring movement combines influences from ballet, dance, and mixed martial arts. After having minimal success under his birth name and other pseudonyms, a conversation with wrestler Chris Brooks prompted him to develop the character of Cara Noir in 2017. Initially, the Black Swan character was supposed to be a heel. After all, what better way to get a wrestling audience riled up than to force them to sit through an elaborate up to 4-minute long entrance? Well, that backfired because audiences absolutely fell in love with both the entrance and the character itself. The music begins, slow, a crawl almost, and Cara steps onto the stage. He is breathing heavily, chest expanding and contracting, not unlike a frightened bird. His eyes are down, slowly looking up at the crowd, revealing the shimmering mask on his face that he ever so slowly removes, revealing a face contorted in pain. Like revealing his true nature, transforming into a man is a strenuous effort. He holds the mask up high, the stage lights reflecting off of the shattered mirror shards glued onto the mask, and his signature makeup takes the dramatic, almost wing-shaped eyeshadow from the film Black Swan to a whole new level. The pale face paint, a sharp contrast to the black, sometimes glittery wings that reach far beyond his eyelids and into his hair. And the touch of glitter on his chest means he will leave his mark on his opponent, one way or another. A feather collar rests on his shoulders and connects to his ring jacket, a dark cloak with shimmering feathers painted on the inside of it. His eyes flicker around the room, wide and alert. Not quite fearful, but not quite comfortable either. He gracefully glides into the ring. And just as the music is about to reach its high point, falls down into the same bow we saw the swans do in the ballet, his body completely hidden under his cloak. And then, as the music reaches its deafening peak and the audience hums along, he throws open his cloak and stands tall in front of the crowd, a swan readying himself for a fight, fluttering his wings, tall, graceful, seeking to intimidate his opponent. And then, once that display is done, he collapses backwards onto the ropes before righting himself and stretching one hand towards the heavens, letting the cheers and the praise wash over him. In July 2019, he wrestled The Bastard, Pac, for Riptide, which is on YouTube for free. And though he was ultimately defeated, the match was critically acclaimed and gave Cara his breakthrough. Both Pac's and Cara's in-ring demeanor could not be more different. Pac agitating the audience, who deserve an award for their comedic timing, by the way, and Cara just looking for a handshake, at first in earnest, and then, when Pac would not indulge him, in jest. It is also not lost on me that Pac's finisher is called the Red Arrow. Yeah, Pac would have fired that crossbow the minute he saw that swan. But hey, if Cara ever needs a Rotbart, Pac would absolutely be perfect. I mean, if Spike Trivet is not available. In 2019, Noir began wrestling for Progress, wrestling both Scotty Davis and later Pete Dunne. And from October to December, he was involved in a series of matches with none other than Ilja Dragunov. Chapter 5. A Spark in the Dark. It's the 13th of October 2019, and we're in the sold-out Ritz in Manchester. TK Cooper has just defeated Roy Johnson, and Jim Smallman fires up the crowd for the penultimate match of the evening. The lights go out. Shortly after, the Titantron above the entrance turns on, bathing the stage in a deep red light, just as the deafening drums of Ilja Dragunov's intro begin to play. He steps out, ready for war. Or a hunt, perhaps. Clearly very comfortable in his ability to annihilate whoever steps in his way. The drums quiet down and the lights go out once more. Then, a stark white light blinds both the audience and Ilja as the first notes of Tchaikovsky's 20th opus fill the room, Swan Lake. The Titantron flickers and the lights lower to reveal a cloaked figure stepping onto the stage, the shimmering mask reflecting the light back at the audience. He makes his way to the ring as the audience keeps applauding, captivated by the display. Cara glides into the ring, glancing at Ilja, whose eyes have not left him once during his entrance, and settles down into the bowed position before shooting up to stand on his tiptoes, making himself tall and fluttering his wings as if to tell the audience to back off. But despite what one might expect from this display, the intimidation is not directed at his opponent, who's still just as captivated as he was before. Ilja looks intrigued, if not downright impressed, whereas Ilja's entrance was loud and aggressive in a way that commanded the audience's attention. Cara Noir dances to his own tune. The fact that the crowd eats it up every time is just an added bonus. But Ilja does pay attention to him, and Cara allows himself to be seen. Seems happy with it, in fact. The bell rings, and Ilja seems unsure how to attack. He pushes him into a corner but lets go before the ref can even begin his 5 count. He just gets in Cara's face and Cara smiles. Ilja backs up and bows. Now it's Cara's turn to back him into a corner, and Ilja comes closer. So close their noses almost touch, and Cara smiles. But their moment is interrupted by the cheering audience, and for the first time that night, Cara loses a bit of his composure, as if he'd forgotten that they weren't, in fact, alone, that there were other people present. The match continues, and it's less of a fight and more of a strange dance. 2 people who could not be more different in aesthetics, proving to be the perfect match. Running the ropes, jump up, headlock takeover, leg scissor choke, headlock takeover, leg scissor choke. Cara, known for learning his opponent's moves mid-match, had his moves copied exactly by Ilja. And now, as they're entering a standoff, Ilja mirrors him again, and Cara indulges him, matching his crazed look and nodding his approval. They stand, and Cara raises his hand to the skies, evoking Siegfried's promise, perhaps? Ilja's eyes follow his hand as if under a spell, and Cara lets it drop right onto Ilja's face, who lets it happen, closing his eyes and allowing himself to feel. And as Cara licks Ilja's sweat off of his hand, Ilja drags both hands over his face as if to wake himself up, and gets back into a fighting stance. The spell is broken, and Cara is pissed. Ilja fires off a symphony of brutality, as the commentators call it, and Cara once again matches his violence. Their dance crescendos when they both knock each other to the floor using the same move. They slowly drag themselves up into a sitting position, back to back, once again mirror images of each other. A look to the right, a look to the left. They roll over and get up in perfect harmony, and as they stand facing the crowd, Cara grips Ilja's hand, and Ilja once again lets it happen, just for a second, before rolling his eyes and attacking. But Cara won't let go. Cara tries once again to headbutt Ilja, something that has failed to have any effect on the thick-headed Russian, by the way. But this time, it does cause Ilja to pause. Another headbutt, and another one right between the shoulder blades. Cara imitates Ilja's warrior scream, and what follows is an array of beautifully executed moves. Clothesline, blackout sleeper, into a shoulder carry, into a drop against the turnbuckle, a back senton into Cara's chest, the unbesiegbar interrupted by a swan woo, front face lock, and a drop on the knee, package pile driver into a torpedo Moscow, and cover, count 1, 2, 3, and done. Ilja lets go of him right after the 3 count and rolls away. Both are on the floor, breathing heavily, and as Ilja looks over one last time, he nods approvingly, and the commentators announce, "We have found a new odd couple." Chapter 6. Opposites Attract. It's the 27th of October 2019, and we're in the Electric Ballroom in Camden. Pretty Deadly have just defeated Jordan Breaks and Sid Scala. There's an audience member dressed like the referee. The vibes are impeccable. Cara Noir enters first, and this time his usually black and white makeup has a bit of glittery red in it. The quiet right after his entrance is interrupted by deafening drums, and Ilja enters, conducting his symphony. He jumps onto the apron and stares at Cara sitting in the corner, and even as he is standing on the ropes, gazing at the crowd, he cannot help but look for that eye contact with his opponent. And Cara stares right back at him. And as the crowd loudly chants Black Swan and Ilja offers him a handshake, and Cara accepts. We begin with some good old-fashioned grappling, and the commentators announce that it was actually Ilja and Cara that asked for one more match. They are so quick on their feet that it makes the slow moments of rest even more pronounced, but even those slow moments are used for storytelling, both mirroring each other. Cara echoing Ilja's bow from their first match, Ilja mirroring Cara's intimidation, and Cara bowing down into his fighting swan stance, waiting for Ilja to mirror that as well, just like he did in their first match. But Ilja doesn't relent, and Cara gets in his face, lifts his hand into the air, and drops it onto his face. Ilja, aware of his tricks now, grabs it, holds it, smiles, and twists Cara's entire arm. We see Ilja employ some of Cara's tactics here, luring him in and attacking when he least expects it. Both are learning from each other constantly. Cara tries to headbutt Ilja, and then, when Ilja moves to hit him with a senton from the top rope, Noir counters with a neckbreaker. Both are down, and then we get this lovely moment. And Ilja uses this moment to attack once again, but gets knocked down by Cara's headbutt. And then we get this. And I'm just gonna allow this to play out as is.
Dragunov though, using that abdominal strength, back to face with Noir. As I'm held by the jaw.
We get a few more stunningly beautiful moves. A swan woo, a suplex into a bridge, and finally a torpedo Moscow countered mid-air into a blackout sleeper, and Ilja is out. Cara wins, and as Cara's music plays, he bows to Ilja. Chapter 7. A Theater of Violence. Our third match, a 2 out of 3 falls match, starts with Ilja Dragunov's entrance and a new look. His almost war paint-like face paint stands diametrically opposed to Cara's more refined look. Cara also hesitates before entering the ring, be it because he's already seen Ilja's new makeup or because Ilja is lifting the ropes for him. Cara, however, slides under the bottom rope as usual, and though he tries, cannot hide a smile when he looks at Ilja. And Ilja looks confused when Cara acknowledges him properly when the lights come back on. Perhaps he had hoped the crude parody of his makeup look would make his opponent angry. Cara instead seems flattered. The bell rings and Ilja wants to rush right into fighting, but Cara waits and offers him a handshake instead. Ilja accepts and pushes their foreheads together in a strangely tender moment. The fight begins, and it is not even really a fight. It's a dance, ending in another standoff. Ilja in his fighting stance and Cara in his. Cara lifts his hand again, trying to put Ilja back under his spell, but Ilja pushes him and rushes into another attack. Once again, both are dodging attacks left, right, above and below, and 5 minutes in, we have our first significant hit, a dropkick by Cara. He tries to lock Ilja into a blackout sleeper, but Ilja throws him off and hesitates. He has a clean shot at Cara's neck and doesn't take it. Cara gets back up, Ilja's fist still under his chin, ready for an attack, but when none follows, he lifts his hand once more to the sky, and this time, Ilja's eyes follow. But instead of submitting to the spell, he grabs Cara's hand, holds it tight, and lifts his own hand, mockingly, then drags it over Cara's face, smudging his carefully applied makeup. He kneels, still holding onto Cara's hand, and taps the mat 3 times. Cara wins the first fall, and Ilja grins as Cara looks around in absolute shock. The makeup hadn't gotten him the reaction he wanted. Mocking his theatrical movements hadn't gotten him the reaction he wanted. This had. Now he had Cara's full and undivided attention, and the Black Swan wants blood. As Cara prepares himself for another swan woo, Ilja manages a counter and hits his irate opponent with a torpedo Moscow and takes the second fall. But as he rolls away, holding onto the ropes for balance, he is clearly asking himself if the pin was genuine or if Cara just wanted to level the playing field. And the commentators make a great point here. Cara Noir doesn't just want to win, he wants to win in the most perfect way, and Ilja had just deprived him of that. Even if he won, to him it would have been a draw, 1 fall each. So by not kicking out, this 2 out of 3 falls match has become a singles match once again. Ilja keeps battering him, ending with another kick to the back of the head, and Cara falls right into Ilja's arms, emulating Michelangelo's Madonna della Pietà. And Ilja has this gut-wrenching look of sorrow etched into his features. These two, my god. Cara interrupts their beautiful Renaissance tableau, though, to ram his head into Ilja's. As you do. Ilja wants to go for the torpedo Moscow, but Cara is still out. He drags him up and begins his unbesiegbar chant again, but Cara collapses once more. Ilja blows him a kiss and kicks him in an effort to get him back up, and Cara headbutts him, and their fight continues. We get another torpedo Moscow into a blackout sleeper, but Ilja powers through. A suplex into a bridge, and Ilja blows him another kiss before setting up a From Russia with Love, which Cara counters with a swan woo into Ilja's midsection. And as the audience chants "Fight Forever" right after the most beautiful ode to Constantine, we get one double knockdown, and another, and a third.
The away end of your fiercest rivals football club. Oh! Package for the driver! Noir with the cover!
Cara wins. A third and a final time. Ilja fell under Cara's spell, and this time it was fatal.
And everybody here, and it looks like Ilja Dragunov as well. Surely this can't be the curtain call on Dragunov and Noir.
Chapter 8. Curtain Call. On episode 101, we get a fatal 4-way match for the Progress Men's World title. Paul Robinson versus Carl Fletcher versus Cara Noir versus Ilja Dragunov. The competitors, apart from Cara Noir, the number one contender, weren't previously announced, so the tension between both men is palpable. And while the championship is the centerpiece of this match, it almost seems secondary to the story being told by Ilja and Cara. I mean, look at this. Ilja will not even point a threatening finger in Cara's direction. For the first time, they're not fighting for honor or for art or to tell a story. They're fighting for a title. And they're gonna have to fight each other. And it feels weird to say that when all they've done is fight each other. But this match feels more serious than the others. There is no time to hesitate now. No time for tender moments or pulled punches. They both want to win. But are they willing to do whatever it takes? The crowd chants, Cara's our champion. And Paul Robinson mockingly bows to him. And just look at Ilja's face here. Is it fear, anger, jealousy? The match starts proper and Kyle Fletcher attacks Cara while Paul Robinson takes on Ilja, who throws him over the ropes and pulls Fletcher off of Cara. Then gets attacked by Robinson, who gets thrown out of the ring by Cara, and here we are again. Both Ilja and Cara facing each other, both unwilling to make the first move, and Ilja especially looks conflicted. He offers his hand, they shake, and Ilja once again whispers something to him. Cara nods, and their fight begins. It's almost like a play within a play, a fight within a fight. A beautiful spot by Ilja and Cara, but Paul Robinson breaks them out of their echo chamber. And I'd like to add that though I am focusing mainly on Cara and Ilja here, Kyle Fletcher and Paul Robinson are by no means delivering a bad performance. All four of these are an absolute joy to watch. Robinson moves to attack Cara and Ilja is right there, subtly positioning himself in between the two. He sets up Robinson for a senton and a torpedo Moscow, but is interrupted by Kyle Fletcher, who in turn gets attacked by Cara. And once again, both Ilja and Cara are attacking everyone except one another. One might even argue they are protecting each other. Kyle Fletcher pins Paul Robinson and eliminates him. We get to see a few incredible spots from Fletcher, and towards the end there it almost seems like Ilja Dragunov and Cara Noir are behaving like a tag team. Fletcher has to fight both at the same time and can't even hope for a little reprieve when normally his competitors would be fighting amongst themselves. Fletcher lifts Cara for another brimstone the same way he took out Paul Robinson when suddenly Ilja hits him with a torpedo Moscow, knocking both over with Cara lying on top of Fletcher, effectively pinning him. 1, 2, 3, and Kyle is out. And Ilja is close to tears. Having acted purely on instinct, the penny is finally starting to drop. Eliminating Fletcher means they have to fight each other, something they've both managed to avoid the entire match. And so it begins again.
This is for everything. Noir and Dragunov will fight to become new Progress champion.
The mutual respect that these two share for one another.
Oh my God, it's like a duel.
Both are putting their feelings aside for one more match at breakneck speed, literally. 2-2 counts in quick succession, and we are once again at a standstill. It's broken by Ilja, but Cara grabs him, bends him, and kisses his face several times in quick succession, setting him up for a DDT perhaps. But Ilja grabs him right back and kisses him long and passionate, and Cara lets go, spreading his arms. A powerbomb, and both separate again. A released Death Valley driver from the top rope, and Ilja attacks with a torpedo Moscow, but Cara kicks out at the last second, and Ilja is irate, begging and pleading for Cara to just stay down. Another unbesiegbar torpedo Moscow, this time though from Noir, knocking Ilja off his feet. Package pile driver, 1, 2, 3. Cara can't believe it, and even the commentators are crying. And Ilja is right there, watching. Their eyes meet, and he smiles, nods, lifts himself to his knees, and bows to the Black Swan, blowing him kiss after kiss after kiss. What a perfect ending. Chapter 9. Encore. In Chapter 128, Cara fights against Dean Almark in a masterclass of technical wrestling. Cara has now been champion for 749 days, defending his title against Dan Maloney, Chris Ridgway, Luke Jacobs, Kid Lycos, Malik, Elijah, Jody Fleisch, Charlie Sterling, Danny Black, Dean Almark, Nick Riley, Gene Money, and now once again against Dean Almark. But despite winning this match, it is clear that the champion is growing tired, and even the commentators remark that he is defending the title perhaps more than he should. Who knows, maybe he's looking for something. Or someone. And as Cara lifts the belt to the sky and the commentators wonder if there is anyone that can turn the lights out on Cara Noir, the lights turn off.
Wait a minute. Wait, what's going on?
The lights are out. Oh, it's here! Ilja Dragunov is here in progress!
The NXT UK champion is here in Manchester.
Oh my goodness! Hustle!
Cara, I've never forgotten you. But I went on my personal journey to write my personal story, but I knew I need to come back. I need to come back for you.
Incredible.
Because what you and me created in this ring, that was just beautiful.
Folks, hustle. Is that a challenge thrown out from Ilja Dragunov?
Perhaps the greatest series of matches. The strangest love story and the most unique relationship we've ever seen in Progress Wrestling. Did we ever think we would see Ilja Dragunov standing across the ring from Cara Noir once again?
You know what? We may just get one more match. And I think it could just be beautiful.
NXT UK champion Ilja Dragunov stands on the stage across from Progress World champion Cara Noir. And what on earth is going on?
Two weeks later, Cara faces Swerve Strickland in the main event of Chapter 129. And what a treat this match is. Swerve seemingly knows how to react to each and every one of Cara Noir's little mind games. These two are a treat to watch. So quick, so fun, and possibly the closest Cara has come to facing someone as willing to respond to his mind games as his favorite Russian. Well, almost. This match is definitely worth a watch, and if Cara ever makes it to AEW, I am desperate for a rematch. Cara successfully defends his title, and it still seems like Cara is unstoppable, even with an injured arm. In Chapter 130, Cara fights Ring of Honor champion Jonathan Gresham in a match the British Daily Star called the biggest match in British wrestling history. Both belts are on the line, and thanks to an interference by Spike Trevay, who has been trying and failing to goad Noir into a match, Gresham wins, and Noir is crushed. And still he lifts himself up and bows to the audience. 791 days he was champion.
Has done the unthinkable. He has given hope when there was none. The light in the dark. Cara Noir, thank you. Thank you.
It's the 10th anniversary show, and we're back where it all began, in the garage, Progress' original home. And Cara is facing Ilja Dragunov one more time. Perhaps one final time. And despite losing the Men's Progress World Championship 5 days before, Cara Noir is greeted like a champion, and he's wearing his red glitter again. And as the fans chant both Ilja's catchphrase Unbesiegbar and Cara Noir, it is not lost on me that together those chants create unbeatable Cara Noir. Though, when the ring announcer introduces him as the former Progress Men's World Champion, it becomes clear that he is not quite himself. Even Ilja notices. Still, he nods approvingly as the audience cheers when Cara's name is called. The bell rings, and Ilja offers him a handshake. The chant, "This is Progress," morphs into "Cara's our champion." And it becomes clear that the love of the audience clearly isn't dependent on a shiny belt. During the first few minutes, Cara's moves are exclusively defensive, and Ilja is getting increasingly frustrated. Though Cara tries, it's clear he has lost his drive.
Essentially what we've got here is Cara trying to get over that loss. It's essentially by hooking up with his ex.
Ilja pushes him into the ropes and is confused when Cara doesn't react at all, even struggling to make eye contact, something he's never had an issue with, especially not with Ilja. And Ilja pushes and prods and tries to get a reaction out of him, and he does. Cara wakes up from a week-long slumber, fired up and ready for one last dance, at least for a few minutes. And Ilja tries again to knock some sense into him. Cara's heart is broken, and Ilja, who has come all the way from NXT, who has begun writing his own story, has become champion by himself, who came back for him one last time, cannot put him back together again. He cannot give him his championship back. The championship they won together. Ilja picks him up, slaps him and yells, show me, let's go." And Cara just takes it, allows himself to be thrown over the ropes and thrown back into the ring. A pin, but Cara kicks out, and Ilja, though frustrated, recognizes that there is still some fight left in him. Another pin. Cara kicks out once again, and Ilja smiles. And then, finally, ironically, with a headbutt, Cara knocks Ilja to the ground, and as they're both lying next to each other, Cara grips his hand tight, and they both slowly get back up again, and Cara attacks. The fire that has been missing throughout the entire match is finally back. They're firing each other up, and Cara grabs Ilja, holds him by the hair, and all his opponent can say is, "Davai, let's go." And Cara lays into him. Suddenly, it's Cara that's dominating the match and setting the pace, and he bows to the audience who never doubted him, not for a moment, not even when he doubted himself.
Because it's the fight that Cara needed.
And isn't that the truth? After a superplex and a Madame Guillotine from Cara, both are slowly sitting back up again, back to back, just like before, instinctually knowing where the other person is. And Ilja claps faster and faster as Cara smiles. They turn, mirroring each other, and a slugfest begins, ending in a headbutt from Cara, one massive slap from Ilja, and a capoeira kick right back. A powerbomb into a pin, Cara kicks out, a punch, and he collapses onto Cara. And Cara still kicks out. He rolls onto his back, Cara's hands still on him, and once again they form a tableau fit for the Louvre. Ilja looks down at his opponent, face down on the mat, and slowly moves to his feet, yelling at him to get up.
Block that torpedo with a hug.
With friendship.
You think mentally the zone that Ilja's in that moment to put the brakes on.
And this is it.
And then Cara attacks once again, and we get another Unbesiegbar chant countered by Cara with a torpedo Moscow of his own. Ilja retaliates, pulls him to his feet, kisses his forehead, and we get another torpedo Moscow. 1, 2, 3. It's over. But both men are still on the mat, Ilja cradling Cara tenderly, and as they slowly separate, Cara signs "thank you" in sign language, and Ilja blows him another kiss, then touches his heart. Cara may have lost the title, may have lost this match, but he's back, and Ilja lifts his hand, a champion recognizing another, and as Ilja walks out, he joins in on the audience's chant, "Cara's our champion."
respect shown from Ilja right now, giving Cara the ring, because he knows.
And that's the end, for now. Chapter 10, Matroska. This story transcends wrestling. It's two people with wildly different backgrounds coming together to create something larger than themselves. It's a play within a play within a play. So let's take a step back and look at those three layers. First of all, the most obvious one, the kayfabe layer. Both the wrestlers Ilja Dragunov and Cara Noir wrestling 5 incredible matches. Let's think back to what the commentators said during their second match. They asked for this. They didn't have to go back 4 more times, but they did, because their chemistry is undeniable. Cara Noir, as a wrestler, has the ability to learn from his opponents mid-match, taking their attacks and throwing them back at them. And Ilja Dragunov's unbreakable spirit and willingness to take whatever he's being given to the extreme allows him to meet Cara right where he's at, mind games and all. There are precious few people able to keep up with Cara Noir, but Ilja Dragunov is certainly right near the top of that list. The second layer is emotional. Something that is so rarely discussed in wrestling, even in the year 2025, is the genre's inherent homoeroticism, especially in less progressive companies. Telling a story like this is unthinkable, because you'd be opening Pandora's box. This isn't just a story about love, it's a story about waking from a repressed slumber. Both Ilja and Cara are Nina in different ways. Cara embodies the character of the tortured artist, desperate for perfection, driven to madness in his quest for the perfect match, and Ilja, built from Russia, a country notorious for its negative views regarding homosexuality, the very picture of strength and discipline, is allowing himself to be seduced, to give into those feelings that have been locked away. Ilja has never struggled with displaying emotions in the ring, but those emotions are usually limited to anger, pain, desperation, sadness. The tenderness he displays while holding Cara, seeking out those touches, kissing his forehead, kissing him, it's not something we've seen from him before, and I'd argue it's not something we'll see from him ever again. And the third layer revolves around Swan Lake itself, because as they're working through those feelings, they are basically putting on a performance of Swan Lake in a wrestling ring, which seems crazy at first, but let's face it, it's what Tchaikovsky would have wanted. One could argue they are exclusively acting out the ballroom scene where Cara, as the Black Swan ordeal, seduces Siegfried. And while that was my first interpretation of the match as well, I'd like to look at it a little bit more broadly. They are not acting out Swan Lake beat for beat. Instead, we get themes from the ballet roughly translated into a wrestling match. The hunt for a partner, finding that partner and developing chemistry, picking out that partner amongst the many, Siegfried being seduced but returning in the end to break the curse that's been placed on his love. Cara transforming from a broken man back into the champion, even without a title belt. And in the end, the Black Swan has been the White Swan all along. And because the original Swan Lake has been lost to the sands of time, there's no one to tell me no. In the end, it's not about Black Swan or White Swan, ordeal or death. It's about love persevering. Over 2 years later, throughout 5 different companies, and at times thousands of kilometers apart. And still, their love prevailed. Now this is wrestling. And what is wrestling, if not a theater of violence? Are we ever going to get another chapter? Who's to say? And I can't help but laugh, because I did this entire deep dive solely because I bounced some of Eddie Kingston's promos and he referenced a random feud while standing over Ilja Dragunov, who was once again selling like his life depended on it. Dear God, man. And then Eddie said the line,
Eddie Kingston gave you the best lesson of your life. And then after that, brother, I'm going after your boyfriend.
That's what did it, that's why I'm here. So ironically, the promo "I'm tired of making stars" created 2 more. Sorry, Eddie. And thank you, Eddie. So, is this the best feud in professional wrestling? Or am I wrong? What's your favorite feud? Tell me in the comments below. And while you're checking out Progress Wrestling, get Progress Plus to watch some incredible British indie wrestling, or if you're in London, head to one of their live shows. They're in the Electric Ballroom for chapter 182 next week, and Cara Noir will be there wrestling Charlie Sterling. I'm sure it'll be a blast. Thank you, and good night.